Good morning, everyone. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. Before I continue with my remarks, just take a moment to introduce some of the people that you're looking at here. Our panel, on my far left, Ms. Natalia Popovic. On my near left, Mr. Stan Komorek. On my near right, Mr. Rick Ross. And on my far right, Ms. Sophia Ruddick. And at the left end of this desk, we have our Deputy Secretary Treasurer, Barbara Komorek. Sorry, Barbara.
Hey, Barbara, you just got
Bartosik.
They got married.
Barbara Bartosik. And in front of us, we have our support staff. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that applies to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. We acknowledge the land we're meeting on as the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone, and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you're called on to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelist when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address, because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal, OLT. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies, as those terms are defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. Once we commence this morning, I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. Any presentation or other materials that you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then, individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will be then be taken into committee for a decision. Before hearing our first item, we need confirmation of the minutes of the last meeting, which was held on November the 7th. May I have a motion to adopt those minutes?
I'll move to adopt the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. Is there a seconder for Mr. Ross's motion? Thank you, Ms. Popovic. All in favor? Okay, the minutes of the meeting dated November 7th are adopted. I would first ask panel, do we have any items where you have a declaration of interest on this morning's agenda? None, thank you. And staff, do you have any declarations of interest on this morning's agenda? No, thank you. Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, have you received any requests for deferral from this morning's agenda?
We have quite a few, Mr. Chair, for such a small hearing. The first one is item 6? No, item 2. Then we have 6, 7, (14) and 15.
Thank you. Okay, then let's dispense with those 5 deferral items before we get into the rest of the agenda. Is there anyone in the hearing room this morning? There are only four of you that are here, came to speak to any of these 5 items. The addresses are 34 WOOLTON Crescent, 53 Lakeshore Drive, 1 Orchard Crescent, 36 Westley Crescent, and I missed one, 14 NORCREST Drive. No? Okay. And Olivia, are you aware of anyone? Oh, yes, sir. It's what, sir? Yeah.
If not adjourned. If not adjourned, he'll speak. Not adjourned.
It's not adjourned. There's been a request for a deferral to a later date. Okay, good. Yep, okay. Okay, then let's start with the first deferral item, which is item 2, 34 WOOLTON Crescent. Do we have the agent, Catherine Rosher, online?
Yes, we do, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Rosher?
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, could you please explain for the committee your reasons for requesting deferral today?
Yeah, so my client had originally submitted for 5 variances to permit the renovation of her home. In going through the variances with staff, we had realized there was an opportunity to be able to reduce the impact of some of the variances, and we had provided revised drawings to city staff. However, city staff had requested clarification on some items in our drawing, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get the revised drawings back in staff's hand in time for their reporting requirements. So we ask for a deferral to be able to provide the necessary drawings to city staff so they can accurately and appropriately review our variances.
Okay, thank you. Panel, any questions for Ms. Rosher? Okay, can we have a motion on the request to defer?
Motion to approve this request, which is also being requested by planning for the same reason.
Right.
I will second that motion.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, item 2 has been deferred. The next item is item 6, 53 Lakeshore Drive. Do we have the agent, Keith O'Brien?
Yes, we do, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Olivia.
Good,
Mr. O'Brien?
good morning, members of the committee.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. O'Brien.
Yes,
Could you please explain your reasons for requesting deferral today?
certainly. There are 2 engineering studies that we're waiting to have completed, one by a coastal engineer and one by a geotechnical engineer. So we're requesting deferral in order to allow those studies to be completed. They need to be done in order for TRCA to complete their own review and submit comments. You'll note that TRCA has also requested a deferral, so that's the reason for our request.
Okay, thank you. And I believe community planning also requested deferral.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Okay, panel, any questions for Mr. O'Brien? A motion to decide on the request for deferral?
I'll move a motion so that the applicant can get the reports done into staff.
Thank you, Mr. Komora.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. All in favor? That motion has been deferred by unanimous decision. Moving on to item number 7, 14 Norcrest Drive. The agent is Oriana Nanoa. Olivia, is Ms. Nanoa available?
Yes, she is. Yep.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Nanoa.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of committee.
Good morning. Could you just explain your reasons for requesting deferral today?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. As noted in the formal deferral request letter that we submitted, we are requesting a deferral as a result of discussions with planning staff, where planning staff have raised some concerns with the proposal. Therefore, a deferral is being requested to provide more time for us to make some revisions to the proposal and to obtain a new zoning notice to satisfy planning staff.
Okay, thank you. Panel, any questions for Ms. Nanoa? Oh, there's no one in the room. Is there anyone online?
No, there is not.
So no, we can move to a motion.
Mr.
So
Chair,
I will move to defer the application, give the applicant time to prepare a new planning notice.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. Thank you.
Second?
Thank you, Ms. Ruddock. All in favor? Okay, that item has been deferred by unanimous decision. Moving on to item number 14, 1 Orchard Crescent.
Mr. Chair, I just want to bring to your attention the agent is not online. However, I do have someone logged in as Perspective Views. I don't think that's him. I just want to double check who that is since I don't have a name. Just to double check it's not him.
You don't have a name of the person that wishes to speak to this item?
Not online. Osrin. We do not have
We don't
Osrin
have the
online.
We don't have the agent available to speak to us?
No, we do not.
Okay, well, let's park that one for,
Can I just do a microphone check for someone logged in as Perspective Views? Hello? Login user Perspective Views. They unmuted themselves, so I'm not sure who that is.
okay, well, we'll try and check in again with the agent and that person. Maybe you can just monitor that and let me know. In the meantime, we'll move to, I believe it's the last request for deferral, item 15, 36 Westley Crescent. The agent is Simon West.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Before you, we have 8 variances. The planning staff had...
Sorry, sir, could you give us your address?
Oh, sorry, 36 Westley.
Oh, you're the owner.
No, you asked me, oh, you want my address?
Oh,
My
I
address
want
is
your, oh yeah, I
382
want your address.
Okay, sorry, 382 Indian Grove.
Okay, and I also noticed in my notes here, you didn't register to speak to us this morning.
I was sent a WebEx invite, so therefore I didn't need to.
No, but you are required to register for all your applications. Please note that in the future.
Oh yeah, normally I do. My mistake. I apologize.
Okay, well, we'll let you speak today. How was that?
That sounds fantastic. Thank you.
So go ahead and please tell us why you're requesting deferral today.
So we have 8 variances in front of you. The planning staff have some issues with 3 of them. We have been in discussions with the planning staff. We have done revised drawings, revised proposal, but we haven't actually heard back from the planning staff as to whether they're in agreement with what we're proposing as far as the changes. So because we don't have any reply back from them, I can't provide a new zoning review, and I can't adequately provide revised drawings to the staff. So therefore I'm asking for a deferral until these issues can be resolved with the planning staff.
Okay, thank you. Panel, any questions for Mr. West? Okay, maybe we have a motion.
I'll move to defer this application as requested by the applicant to consult with planning.
Thank you, Ms. Ruddock. Seconder?
I'll second.
Mr. Kamork, thank you. All in favor? Okay, that motion has been approved unanimously. So we can now move to the beginning of the agenda. Item number 1, 21 Thames Avenue. Just do a quick summary here. Purpose of the application is to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. There's 1 variance. There are no agency comments or conditions, no requests to speak to the item. Olivia, do we have anyone online that wishes to speak to this item?
Just the agent, Mr. Chair.
Just the agent, yeah, okay. So, Mr. Lawrence Ertel?
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Sorry, just before you begin, I just want to check in with the panel. This is a pretty straightforward application, 1 variance, no comments on it from anyone. I just want to ask the panel if they would agree to treat this as a straightforward application in which you would not present to us, but be prepared to answer any questions that we may have, if that's okay with you.
Yes, thank you.
That'd be okay?
That's fine.
So panel,
Yes.
Are you agreeable to proceeding that way then? Any questions?
A couple of quick questions, if I may, Mr. Chair. I'm assuming this is you're coming back to us because it was an item that was missed in your original application?
No, I'm actually the land surveyor. What happened was we had cited in the foundation at the correct setback, and I guess nobody caught that there was a cantilevered second floor.
Oh,
So, yeah, so it was under the minimum. The main house is set back properly. The cantilever, actually, the cantilever is still about a foot inwards from the furthest projection of the neighbor. So it's not protruding past the two houses.
It's very minor. So I'm not questioning I'm not questioning the variance. I think the variance is very minor. We can certainly support that variance. My other question has to do with the cantina or the cold room underneath. Does that project beyond the cantilever?
That's a good question. I'd have to double check that. I don't think so. Or does it? Yeah, let me.
It was hard to tell from the drawings. It looks like perhaps just the stair portion does, in which case I don't have any issues with it.
Mm-hmm. Boy. Yeah, I'm just let me.
Just to clarify, members,
What?
I'm looking
Okay,
at the
this one here.
original plans, and the site plan did not show the cantilever.
Right. Yeah. So the stair portion, you're right. The stair portion is the only portion that's projecting in front of the cantilever.
So it's not, but it is excavated, but it's not really usable space. So that's why I'm not going to.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
technically.
it's
So technically your setback you may need a slightly larger setback than what you're requesting, but if you're okay with this, then we're okay with this. I just wanted you to be aware of that.
Yeah, the cantilever portion is the furthest projection forward from the structure.
Okay.
So you can take what you're asking for and maybe come back later if you have to.
Okay.
All right, panel, any questions? Any other questions?
Nope.
Olivia, no one online?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So let's have a motion.
Yeah, I just wanted the applicant to be aware of that in the event that he does have to wind up coming back versus deferring this. But anyway, that's. Yeah. That's why I leave it. Just wanted to point that out. So otherwise, I have no issues, and I believe the application is very minor and would be happy to move approval with no conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Kamara. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Oh, I'm going to give it to Ms. Popovic. All in favor? That application is approved unanimously.
Mr. Chair, I just want to bring to your attention, there's someone logged in as Anthony Martino who is not registered to speak. I just want to unmute him and see which item he's here to speak to, so we don't pass him.
What item is that?
Anthony Martino, can you hear me?
What item though?
Oh, hi there. I'm
you don't
here
know?
for 8 watts.
I'm sorry?
8 watts.
Okay, I have Bruno Lopez registered to speak. Are you here as a agent or as a area resident?
I'm my mother's the owner of the home. I may not even have to speak if Bruno's present.
You're just here to observe?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We can proceed.
Sorry, what item?
That was for 8 Watt Avenue, but he's just here to observe because he has an agent registered to speak.
Well, at that time, we'll just check in and see if he's changed his mind and does want to.
Okay, sounds good, Mr. Chair.
Alrighty. So we'll move on to item 3, 45 Floral Parkway. Purpose is to construct a one-story rear and east side addition. There are 4 variances. And the agent is Kaveh Baradaran.
Mr. Chair, Marco Vieira for item 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. My
Marco.
name is Marco Vieira.
Yeah,
I'm
hi.
at 257 Dunraven Drive, and I'm the agent.
Thank you. Could I just check in with the panel again? I think this is pretty straightforward, four pretty straightforward variances. We do have a planning condition building in accordance with the drawings. You have a support petition and you have urban forestry condition 1. Would you be okay with foregoing a presentation and entertaining any questions if we have any?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, that is fine.
Okay, good. So panel, any questions for Mr. Vieira? Oh, I didn't even ask you if you were in agreement with taking that approach. Does anybody require a presentation? Okay. So any questions? Let's have a motion then.
I would move to approve the application subject to it being tied to the site plan.
And urban forestry condition 1?
And forestry 1.
Okay, is there a seconder for Mr. Ross's motion?
I will second that, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Popovic, thank you. All in favor? That application is approved unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 4. The agent is Kaveh Baradaran. I apologize in advance for the pronunciation. Just do a quick summary.
Morning, Chair.
Purpose is to convert the existing detached building in the rear yard into a garden suite. There are 10 variances. And Kaveh Baradaran, agent, are you available to speak to us?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, could you just repeat your name and give us your address, please, and make a brief presentation?
Yeah, certainly. This is Kaveh Baradaran. I'm at 943 Queen Street East, and I'm representing my client. I'm the architect of the project. Okay.
So do you want to tell us a bit about your project?
Yeah, just in terms of keeping time in mind, I'm going to keep it short. We align with the city staff report. We are in agreement on most of the items. Essentially, the project is an existing auxiliary building in the backyard of 16 FOXWELL, and it has stood over 100 years and predates the Toronto zoning bylaw and retains its right to exist regardless of the proposed renovations. While the garden suite is permitted on this site, converting it from a workshop / storage shed to a garden suite triggers some minor variances, and namely those are triggered by the garden suite bylaw, which are the separation distance, the height, the angular plane, and lot coverage. But like we stated, regardless of the renovations, this building has the right to exist. And the other 2 variances are for landscaping and setbacks. And for the setbacks, we are encroaching into the lawfully existing setbacks by 0.08 meters, which is 3 1/4 inches, specifically to align with our sustainability goals of cladding this building with insulation and waterproofing to make the inhabitants a little bit more happy during wintertime. And the variance number 1 is in regards with landscaping. Currently, the required landscaping is 50%, and the existing is 30%, and we're proposing to bring that up to 41%. And again, we align with the city staff report for this proposal, and we're hoping that the committee adjustment grants us these variances for our client to inhabit this ancillary building for their family use and to create more housing in the city.
Okay,
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. At the beginning of your presentation, you said you were familiar with the community planning report and that you were in agreement with most of it. Are there aspects of that report that you are not supportive of?
Sorry, let me rephrase that. We are in agreement with all of it. They support our proposal.
Yes, but there's a condition of approval. Are you aware of that?
The condition is that we need to align with the required setbacks that we are asking for and the landscaping requirements that we are proposing.
Okay, so you're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Panel, any questions for the agent?
I have one, Mr. Chair, if I may. Sir, on your submission, you state that you consulted with a number of the neighbors. The one neighbor that's missing is number 18 Foxwell. Can you indicate whether there was any contact or reach out to that neighbor? Because that's an immediate neighbor.
We have asked our client to speak to majority of the neighbors, and nobody had any objections. As specifically to your question about the immediate neighbor, I'm not aware if my client was able to talk to them, so I don't have that answer for you at this moment.
Okay, no, you've listed a number of neighbors that you spoke to, and I just thought, and that one was missing, so I just was wondering what the situation was on that. Thank you.
I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have two brief questions. Mr. Agent, can you confirm that the garden suite that will replace the existing building will also be a two-story? It looks like a two-story on the site photos.
It's remaining as a two-story ancillary building. We are not changing any of it. Okay. All we're doing is adding insulation to the exterior.
Thank you. And my second question was, in the description, it says this is a stable building, given that it's 100 years old. You can just let me know that you've satisfied yourself that it is structurally stable to be converted and not torn down.
Yes, it's currently standing, and we have our structural engineers on board, and but part of the scope of work is to reinforce some of the structural aspects of the building to ensure that it would stand the test of time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and
we
have Philip Conyers registered to speak.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do. Let me just get him unmuted. Okay, Philip, you're unmuted.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I have no question about it.
Sorry, sir.
In attendance.
Sir, could
yes?
you please give me your address?
Oh, I'm Philip Conyers, and it's at 14 Foxwell Street,
okay,
Toronto.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't have any problems with it. I was just listening in to see if there's any other thing that did not show up on the letter that I received. So I have no objection right now.
Okay. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Olivia, anyone else online to speak to this?
No, Mr. Chair, no one else online and no one else in the room.
Okay, so then I think we can proceed into committee for a decision.
So I move to approve the application subject to the planning condition.
Is there a seconder for Mr. Ross's motion?
Sure, I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Komorok. All in favor? That item is approved unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 511 COULES Court. Purpose is to construct a new detached garage in the rear yard. There is one variance regarding the height of the proposed garage. We have urban forestry condition 2. No other agency comments. No, Olivia, can you confirm no one online to speak to it?
No one online except
Other
the
than
agent, yes.
So panel, are we in agreement to treat this as straightforward and we're okay with that? Okay. Mr. Faulkner, you're the owner.
Yes, Mr. Chair, that's correct.
Just noted here that you didn't register to speak to us today.
Well, I apologize for that. I thought the invitation was sufficient to have me registered to speak.
Okay, well.
You're supposed to register in order to get that invitation, so please make sure you do that for next time.
But as you're the
I will,
owner,
thank you.
as you're the owner of this property,
I am the owner, yes.
We probably won't hear from you again, but if you ever buy another property and need variances, you can take note at that time. So.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just had one question.
This is.
Sorry.
Oh, sure.
You're asking for roughly an extra meter of height for the garage. Was there some specific reason that you need the extra height?
Yes, sir. The house was renovated about 16 years ago, and it has steeply pitched roof lines, various roof lines. And the existing shed that this garage will replace also has a steeply pitched roof. And we'd like to maintain that visually to have the steeply pitched roof with everything else on the property.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, panel, for Mr. Faulkner?
That was my question as well. Just wanted to confirm there's no loft being constructed because given the drawings, it doesn't indicate one. So I just want to confirm.
I can confirm that the intention is to have a cathedral ceiling inside to provide for extra height within the structure, not a loft.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so can we go into committee for a decision?
Sure. I find the application to be meeting the 4 tests. Minor in nature, would move approval subject to forestry condition 2.
Thank you, Mr. Comork. Is there a seconder for Mr. Comork?
I will second that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. Is there, all in favor? That application is approved unanimously. So items 6 and 7 have been deferred. Moving on to item 8, 180 Berry Road. Purpose is to construct a 1-story rear addition, bracket sunroom. We have 3 variances. We have a community planning condition, no other reports with conditions or comments. Nothing from the neighbors. Olivia, can you confirm there's no one online that wishes to speak to this?
Just the agent, Mr. Chair.
Okay, good.
Syed Ahmed.
Okay, Mr. Ahmed?
Yes. Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members.
Hi. Could you
My name is Syed Ahmed from
Could you give us your
944. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Give us your address.
Okay. Syed Ahmed, 944 Crawford Drive in Peterborough, and I'm an agent for the property at 180 Berry Road.
If I can just break in, I just want to check in with the panel. Again, I think this is pretty straightforward. 3 variances, 1 community planning condition. You're aware of that and you're okay with it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So panel, are we agreed to proceed without a presentation if the agent is agreeable? Okay, good. So Mr. Ahmed, would you be agreeable to foregoing a presentation because it's pretty straightforward and answering any questions if we have any?
Oh, no, not at all. If you have any, please, yes, go ahead.
Okay. So panel, any questions for Mr. Ahmed? No? Okay, then let's go into committee and make a decision.
So I'll move to approve the application subject to the planning condition, and there is no forestry.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. There a seconder for Mr. Ross's motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Komorek. All in favor? That application is approved unanimously. Moving on to item 9. Purpose is to construct a new one-story rear addition. There are 4 variances. We have a revised application that came in with the additional materials a couple of days ago. Just pull that up. Yeah, I'm just pulling it, scrolling it down here.
It's just to clarify the purpose.
Yeah. Okay. Tony Enriquez is the agent.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Tony Henriquez, 543 Concord Avenue. I'm the agent for this application.
Okay, can I just check in, Mr. Enriquez, with the panel? Again, I think this is pretty straightforward. I don't know if we need a presentation. Panel, does anyone require or desire a presentation? We're all okay? So if it's okay with you, Mr. Enriquez, to forego a presentation and be prepared to answer any questions, should we have any? Are you okay with proceeding that way?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. So, panel, any questions for Mr. Enriquez?
I have one, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of processing with neighbors, and I just wanted to confirm whether there have been some direct discussions with number 8 Culford Road, as they will be, I think, most impacted by this proposal.
I know that my client, the owner, has spoken to most of the neighbors. I don't really know which ones he has or not, but he has told me that he was okay with all the neighbors. That's the only information I can give you.
Okay, no, that's fine. It just, their backyard is currently looking into open space, which is now going to become your addition. That was why I wanted to confirm, but that's fine. Thank you.
Yes, we actually had a garage that was even further back, and we're putting the garage next to the house, so that actually clears more backyard.
Yes and no, but that's okay.
Yes. Okay.
Any other questions, panel? No one online, Olivia?
No, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So let's have a motion, and please reference your decision is based on the revised application.
Okay, seeing that there is no opposition, I'm going to assume that discussions did take place. So I'm going to move approval as amended with no conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Komorek. Is there a seconder for Mr. Komorek's motion? Mr. Ross, thank you very much. All in favor? That application is approved unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to item 10, 8 Watt Avenue. Purpose is to construct a new garden suite in the rear yard. There are 3 variances. We have a request for a condition of approval from community planning. No other agency comments. Olivia, is there anyone online that wishes to speak to this item?
No, Mr. Chair, just the agent.
Okay. Mr. Lopez?
Morning, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Bruno Lopes from MXL Engineering Associates, located at 1649 St. Clair Avenue West, representing the owner.
Okay, thanks. I just want to jump in for a minute here. Again, I see this is pretty straightforward. Panel, does anybody request or desire a presentation? We're good? So, Mr. Lopes, would you be okay with foregoing a presentation on your item because it's so straightforward?
Absolutely.
And answering any questions that
Absolutely.
we may have. Good, good. Okay, so panel, questions for Mr. Lopes.
I just want to flag, I believe this is the item where the second speaker came in, but he didn't want to speak. You said you would check in?
He was the owner.
That was the owner?
Yeah,
You
you're
wanna
right.
Check in? Like, or-
There- we,
He's the
yeah.
owner? Okay, that's fine.
He's the son of the owner.
Yeah, so only
Son of
one
the
of them would speak.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, no,
Mother,
okay, we're,
mother who was the owner.
let's go.
that's fine.
Okay, I just have one observation, and that's only one photo was submitted. Could have submitted more than one.
You're saying he could have, should have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a picture instead of a picture.
Mr. Chair, if there are no other comments, I agree with my colleague that more pictures would have been useful to visualize the space. That said,
We do see the garbage bins well, though.
That said, I believe that the notice and the request meet the four tests. I believe there's a November 12th urban planning condition.
Yep.
And would move to approve on that basis.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. There's a seconder for Ms. Popovic's motion. Thank you, Mr. Ross. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, approved unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to item number 11. 3 Amber Crescent. Purpose is to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. There are 5 variances. We have urban forestry conditions 1 and 2. An application on this property was refused by this committee on August the 29th of this year. And this application proposes virtually the same variances as were requested and refused in August. We have a community planning condition as well. And I think we definitely need a presentation on this one. Matthew Rebow.
Hello, committee members.
Yeah, hi.
Good morning. Okay, sorry. When I was addressed earlier, my mic didn't seem to be working. My name is Matthew Rebo. I am of Perspective Views, 5359 Timberlea Boulevard, Mississauga. I'm the agent representing the owners of 3 Amber Crescent. As stated in the planning staff support, we were before the committee back in August of this year, and due to interpretation of the bylaw, and planning staff was not able to fully support our application. And we was hoping for some dialogue with committee members, but it did not take place, and they just basically voted in the recommendation of planning staff support. We have since revised the proposal and have gained the full support from planning staff. I'd like to point out that the neighbor to the south, who would be the most impacted by a proposed development, spoke at the last hearing in support of our application. If you wish, I can complete a full presentation if committee members find it necessary. Otherwise, for the sake of timing, we are aware that both the condition noted in the planning report as well as from urban forestry that they have no concerns. So I'll leave it up to you. If you still want me to present, I can do that as well.
Well, then, okay, then fine. We can move into questions. I'd certainly like clarity and certainty on the reasons.
Yeah, I can speak to that. So the main reason,
coming back with the same thing that we refused 2 months ago. So
almost the same thing. If we can pull up the plans, and either the floor plan or yeah, I would say the main.
Well, I got the
plan.
coverage is the same. The south side yard setback's the same. The length is the same. The building depth is the same. And you have increased the rear yard setback by 0.5 meters.
Okay, so I'll explain. So if you take a look at, if you could please go to the main floor plan. So the issue is the way that the bylaw is written, we have to count the underground space. Can you please go to the main floor plan?
Mr. Chair, I have paused his timer until we bring that up so that he can.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. So there's the basement plan. You can see at the back, there's a walkout and gym, and there's the main floor plan. So the issue had to be with how the building depth was being calculated, and we're told that according to the bylaw and how it's defined, we have to include that on all of that is essentially underground space. If we go to the building cross section or side elevation, well, you can see that that's pretty much flush with grade. And so previously, we also had a covered patio. So we had a roof structure over top the patio. And essentially all we did was eliminate that roof structure. It basically made even less of an impact. And if we go to and that was enough to gain the staff support on our application, even though all the figures are the same. If you go to the site plan, please. While the site plan is being pulled up, I'll just speak to it. Some of the key points in my previous presentation was that we designed it in such a way to mitigate any negative impact on neighboring properties. So on the north side, to the left, essentially our building depth matches the existing or the neighboring property. And on the right side, so because this is a crescent, we're right at the crown or as the road starts to widen out for the neighboring property. The neighbor to the south is much further back. And so our proposed design basically respected both neighbors at the same time. Now without the covered porch, removing the roof structure, it even further mitigates any type of massing contrast from neighboring properties. So I hope that's enough explanation as to the difference in the submission and why the variance requests are pretty much the same.
Okay, panel, any questions? No questions? Let's take a break. I'd just like to ask the lady and gentleman that are here, what item are you here for? $13? Okay, I just don't want to miss you when the time comes. All righty, so 3 Amber Crescent, can we go into committee and make a decision?
So given the explanation and looking at the 4 tests, I would move to approve the application subject to the staff condition and subject to forestry. 1 and 2.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ross. The seconder for Mr. Ross's motion.
Mr. Chair, I will second that, and I'll include the basis for that as the November 12th, 2024 urban planning staff notation that the proposed coverage is acceptable as a dwelling does not represent an open development.
Okay, Mr. Ross, are you agreeable to that amendment?
Yeah, I take that as friendly amendment.
Okay. So we have a motion and a seconder. All in favor? Okay. Okay, that application is approved with noted conditions unanimously. Moving on to item 12, 10 Waltham Drive. Purpose is to construct a 1-story addition above the existing dwelling. There is 1 variance requested. There are no agency comments or conditions. No letters of opposition or support. Oh no, there's supporting material, sorry. Anyone online, Olivia, to speak to this item other than the agent?
Just the agent, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Salvatore Crimi.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members, Committee of
Morning.
Adjustment staff. Sal Creamy here, address 2572 Eglinton Avenue West, and a good day to all in attendance.
Okay, Salvatore, can I just check into the panel again? I think this is pretty straightforward. I don't believe we need a presentation. If you'd be okay with that, and leaving it open for any questions if we have any.
There's a single sheet of presentation material that I think makes this application very palatable, so I'll leave it in your trusty hands, Mr. Chair.
Okay, yeah, we do have your material and we've reviewed it. So, panel, anybody require or request a presentation, or just move into questions if we have any?
I have questions.
Okay, good. Yep, that's fine. So questions, Mr. Komarek.
Okay, sir. Is there any soft landscaping in your rear yard right now?
What is existing, sir?
And what is existing? Because
What's there? I don't have an exact number.
Okay, did you get
nor is it a variance.
Have you received a variance for that in the past?
None to my knowledge, sir. I can't answer that accurately. I didn't do research into that as it wasn't a variance at this time.
Because it appears to me like the entire rear yard is paved over, which would require a variance.
I don't, like I say, one way or another, I don't believe it is. If we go to the site plan, what does our site plan show part of this application?
Let's have a look at.
It shows nothing.
Yeah, there is no site plan.
No site photo, right?
I mean, the application, realistically, application before you is for the FSI. At building permit stage, if that is a clarification item by the examiner, it will be caught then. If there is a discrepancy or a variance, it'll have to come back to committee.
No, I understand that.
So right now,
I'm just pointing that out because, I mean, if it is a variance, then even though it's not part of your application, it could require that variance.
possibly, and that should be captured at building permit review stage.
Okay, so I just want to note that, so you may be coming back.
Any other questions, panel? No? Olivia, is there anyone online that wishes to speak to this item?
No, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Then I think we can go into committee for a decision.
Mr. Chair, unless there are any other comments, on the basis of the representations made by the agent, and with noting my colleague's comments about the soft landscaping in the background, which, excuse me, in the backyard, which appears to be, a backyard appears to be totally paved. Having alerted the applicant to that issue, I will move to approve as meeting the 4 tests at this time, and I do not see any conditions.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. Is there a seconder for Ms. Popovic's motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Ms. Ruddick. All in favor? That's approved unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to item 13. And I know we have speakers in the room, which we'll be calling on in due course. Just do a quick summary here. Purpose is to legalize and to maintain an existing one-story addition along the north side of the existing dwelling. There's one variance we have on file in order to comply And in recently submitted information, we got a previous decision on this property and an OMB decision. I think given the complex history of this, a presentation would be in order. And again, we have Mr. Lopes.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Bruno Lopes from MXL Engineering and Associates, located at 1649 St. Clair Avenue West, in presence representing the owner.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lopes. Yeah, could you please make a presentation on this? You know, we'd like to hear about the OMB decision and the previous decision and, you know, relevant history. It's a pretty straightforward application with a complex background.
Yeah, correct. You are absolutely correct. Actually, I'm not even aware of what happened on OMB. This might be something from some time ago that has to do with the house itself. So this would be very straightforward. So the idea that the owner is actually, the lady owner, she wanted to do a little bit of a shed, sort of greenhouse. She actually did a bit of due diligence with the city. She called the city, she informed herself. However, this shed that, as you know, legally you can have about 15 square meters, and this one is actually under that side. The only situation that was brought over was that this was connected to the house. As long as it's connected to the house, now it's considered an extension to the house and not an auxiliary building. So she was caught in this little kerfuffle of miscommunication, misunderstandings, and of course, there was an order issued because it was not properly built, let's say, as an auxiliary building. And she went all the way through the process. She contacted us, and we just went on site. We did all the measurements we provided, and the only variance is, even being attached to the building now, it's only one variance, which is the side yard setback. But if you see on the drawings, it's just a continuation of the house. So I don't think the OMB that was previous decisions has nothing to do with this. This is like a very standalone item, and again, was supposed to be just a garden shed, but because it was attached to the house, it's supposed to be at least 30 centimeters away from the house, and that will be considered just, you know, just any other auxiliary building.
Thank you. Panel, any questions for Mr. Lopes?
Yeah, I'm just going to confirm this is a ground floor only. There's nothing below grade. Were there foundations put in?
Through Mr. Chair, yes, absolutely. This just, again, it's just a little garden shed that it's a garden house, and it's very simple, very humble, but because of miscommunications, here we are today.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll invite our guests to come up to the podium and speak to this matter. Give us your name and address.
My name is, can you hear me without this? Okay. Hi, good morning, sorry. I'm Stephen Pachiti. I reside at 129 Princess Anne Crescent in beautiful Etobicoke. I'm here as an agent for my mother, Antonietta Pachiti. So, good morning, committee members and staff.
What is her address that you're
representing? Oh, sorry?
What is your mother's address?
Oh, my mother is the owner and resides at 25 Floral Parkway, which abuts the property and that we're at 97 MACLEOD. You can see that on some of the maps I think you have. So she's at 25 Floral Parkway. So she's resided there for 62 years. And I'm here just representing her viewpoints. First of all, when we saw this construction going on, we did call the city of Toronto, which I think created, you know, why we're here today. So, right or wrong, something was being built. And I did ask the neighbor, do they have a permit, which I don't know if they responded to me or not. But regardless, we're here. We have two main points to address. Number one, the minimum variance, well, the side setback is noted as 1.8 meters and the altered dwelling is 0.43 meters. So half of 1.8 is 90 and half of 90 is 0.45. So the setback is less than a quarter of the normal setback. So whether you call it minor or not, it doesn't seem minor. And also the second point that we want to make is simply, had somebody gotten a permit, we just want people to follow the rules and the law, because that allows inspectors to make sure foundations, etc., are proper. And that's it. So those are the two main points. One is, we don't think it's that minor, the setback. And two, we just wanted to make sure whatever's being built is properly addressed. So we're happy that at least there's a process, and that's it. So that's all the things that we have to say on behalf of my mom, Antonietta Paciti. Thank you.
Okay. I can certainly assure you that this building will be subject to the building code and the building permit process. And this is the kind of planning authority aspect of the process that we're settling today to legalize it or not. So,
I have a question.
Yeah, sir. Would you mind coming up to the podium? We have a question for you.
So the applicant is stating that they thought they were just building a shed. I just wanted to clarify that for a shed of up to 100 square feet, they can build that without a permit. If they were to build a shed, which would be 0.45 meters away from the property line, would you object to that?
If they were building
If they were building a shed that's not attached to the house, and it were set back, because I think the setback for a shed would only be 0.4 meters, would you have an objection to that?
The objection we have is simply that the side setback says 1.8 meters. If somebody said to me, we want to do a side setback of 1 meter, I think we would be okay with 1 meter.
Okay, but
so yes,
I'm putting a bit of a twist on this. Okay?
Yeah.
Because the setback for a shed is not 1 meter. It's probably 0.4, or I don't know exactly what it is, but my understanding is that it would be substantially less. In fact, they would probably be complying.
It's not a separate shed, though.
Understood.
I would prefer not to answer that question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Mr. Lopes. You have an opportunity, Mr. Lopes, to rebut what
Actually,
you
before he
just...
does that, I think I do have a question.
Oh.
I just want to know from the neighbor what the impact is of this addition in 0.43 meters.
I don't
what
think
the variance is.
I don't think the neighbor's listening to you.
Sorry, sir. We have a question for you.
Asked a question here.
I just want to understand what the impact of this variance that they're requesting, the 0.43 meters, is to you or your mother.
Aside from the number, what's the impact? How does it
affect
your mother?
It's a preference. It's an opinion. Like I said, we had 2 points. One, we prefer people to follow the laws when they build things. And two, the side setback shows as 1.8, and it's a lot less than 1.8. So maybe if the process had been different, her opinion would be different. But if we didn't bring something up to the inspector, we wouldn't even be here, and somebody would have constructed something, and we don't know how it was being constructed. So it's partly a process. She's been there as a resident paying taxes in North York for 62 years and followed all the laws. So she wants to make sure other people in the community are respectful. And had the process been different, perhaps her opinion on the setback would be different, but she's not very happy that somebody has built something. And I guess my separate question would be, what would happen if somebody built something 6 inches away from the property line? Is that okay? Is that a minor as well? When does something become not minor anymore? I don't understand that. So
It's, there is no answer to that question. Everything's evaluated on its own merits.
yeah.
One application at a time.
Yeah, I do understand it follows the same line as the house. But again, we're just, you know, like I said, here for just sharing our points of view.
So your concern is more a process concern?
Yes. Any other questions?
I think we're fine. We're now going to hear from Mr. Lopes. He's going to have an opportunity to rebut your remarks. Mr. Lopes?
Yes, thank you through you, Mr. Chair. Actually, yes, I would like to address the neighbor. He's in fact right from his standpoint that we should follow the process, and that's why we are here today. But in fact, my client followed the process. She actually called the city, shed the setback. It's actually member Kumurek. He actually nailed it in the head. It's not 0.45, it's 0.3. And even though she aligned with a house, so it looks better and it's less intrusive, because legally she could move it even further close to the fence. The only mistake they did is that they attach it to the house. And because it's already built, it's already done, they said, you know what, we are not tearing part of this down to actually separate it 30 centimeters, and we shouldn't be here today. We are here today because they attached it wrongly to the house and shouldn't be. That's only the reason, because the area actually conforms with the shed.
Okay, so your client is a good citizen.
Absolutely, she did that, and she was so upset because, you know, the costs, the fees, because the penalties, the committee costs double. She was upset all the way, and with a lot of people, believe me.
Okay. Panel, any questions for Mr. Lopes? Okay, I think we can proceed into committee for a decision.
So given that if the thing were moved 3 feet, it would be completely legal, and the setback would be no different than what it is now, I believe the application is minor, meets the Fort test, and would like to move approval.
Thank you, Mr. Kumork. Is there a seconder for Mr. Kumork? Mr. Ross, thank you. All in favor? That application is approved unanimously. Thank you all for participating. Now, Olivia, can we check in on number 14?
Mr. Chair, I did email the applicant personally. He's not gotten back to me, but he had, like, this application's been placed on the December 5th agenda, so it's my opinion that he just thinks he doesn't need to attend today because it was a deferral, and he's already been placed on another.
Deferral.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so we've already committed to December 5th?
Which has now been canceled, however.
Canceled.
Yes, it was
Right.
a deferral anyway, so I think
So the next
we
available
can.
hearing.
Yes, exactly. We can
don't know
just
when that is.
defer it, I guess. I'm not sure.
Okay, then I suggest we proceed. It's an automatic deferral. I don't really think we need to hear from the agent anyway. The notice was incorrect. So let's go into committee and decide on this deferral.
Is that deferral, by the way, because of the postal?
No, it's an incorrect notice.
Incorrect notice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll move for deferral.
I'll
Just
second.
do the notice.
All in favor? Deferred by unanimous decision. Thank you.
Sorry, who seconded?
Mr. Ross.
No,
I didn't.
No, I think
Sophia.
Sophia beat me.
Ms. Ruddock. Alrighty then. Moving to the last of the morning agenda. It's not even 11 o'clock. We didn't take a break.
Anybody at 1 o'clock?
Or we can spend an hour and a half on this one.
Well, that's a good point. There's 3 of them. Afternoon.
But again, okay, this is to construct a one-story rear addition. 2 variances. Before I ask the agent panel, are we in need of or desirous of a presentation?
No.
No one? Okay. Allison Teves?
No. Hello, yeah, Allison Teves. I'm with Mallet Creek Group, 294 East Mill Street, Elora, Ontario. We're the owner's agent for the application.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if you were listening, but the panel does not need a presentation from you. Would you be okay with answering questions if we have any and foregoing a presentation? On the grounds,
Yes, thank
this
you.
is a very straightforward application, 2 variances. With a community
Yes.
planning condition, are you aware of and okay with that?
Yes, we were aware of the condition and we're accepting of it.
Okay, good. So you're okay with just moving forward into questions if we have any? And then we'll
Yes, that sounds
then
good.
we'll make a decision. Okay, so panel, questions for Ms. Teves?
Was there any process with transportation? Did they make any comments to you?
I don't believe we received any comments from transportation. There was discussion with planning, just related to the railway and the guidelines in place. But that was it, to my understanding.
Okay, no, I'm just curious why there's no comment on, I mean, these are transportation-related variances, and there's no comments from them, so. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions, panel? Okay, can we go into committee then for a decision?
Yeah, I'll move approval, subject to the planning condition as set out. I believe it meets the 4 tests and is desirable.
Thank you, Mr. Komorik. Is there a seconder for Mr. Komorik?
I'll second.
Ms. Ruddick, thank you very much. All in favor? That application is approved unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Teves. So the morning session is adjourned at 10:50 a.m. We will reconvene at 1 p.m.
Before we leave, can I just get staff to have a look at my computer, because I'm having some issues? Thanks.
What are you guys gonna do? I'll wait.
Oh, no.
I'll wait till then.